And welcome to Sunday here. A wonderful day of prices, a weekend of prices that we've had so far, Dave. I think it's going to continue on until the last race here on Sunday.
I'll tell you that yesterday's card for me was very, very, very tough. Today, a little more confidence in the selections. One thing I will say, Callie, is, you're looking at the turf today. You got to look for speed. Speed, very, very, very good.
Yes.
A++. plus.
Yeah, absolutely.
And another plus.
And another plus. Let's go. Speaking of turf, let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got going on there. Still firm. Still going to probably be helping out that speed that we have. And the track is fast. Any biases that you've noticed throughout the weekend, Dave?
No, just turf speed is what I can see.
Anything
the main
on the
track
dirt?
seems to be a little more fair to me. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, good. Perfect.
Yep.
All right, pretty straightforward. Also wanted to highlight that Rosecroft will have a nice jackpot super high 5 in race 10 on Monday, and if that doesn't hit, it also goes to Wednesday. So the action still continues as far as going around in circles here in Maryland goes throughout the rest of the week. So almost $6,000 that starts in race 10 at Rosecroft on Monday, October 21st. Let's dive into our early pick 5 though here in Laurel Park, starting on the lovely Laurel lawn in the starter optional 12.5. Remember, low industry 12% takeout on that early pick 5, going 5.5 here on the turf, second wire finish for these girls, 3 and up, scratches in the 1, 2, 6, and 9. Dave Rodman, you have the number 11 on top, and Lady Serenity on the outside. John Salzman Sr., Tori Alba. You had this one earlier as a value play, but as you kind of expected, the money's down to 4-1 right now currently.
Yeah, she was 5 a few moments ago, of course, early in the wager. And it may drift up back to the 4, 5, 6-1 range. I don't know, but going to make a case for her. She was a beaten favorite behind Theodora Grace, one of the fillies she'll face this afternoon. She broke sharp, was taken back that day, tried to make a late run, was blocked at the 8th pole, tried to bid, but just ran out of real estate after the trouble. And she is a very fast filly in her own right. And today, the way the course is playing, I don't think they can waste too much time and try to go to the front in this spot with Lady Serenity. She's always been a filly with some good quality early speed for John Salzman. So I say, waste no time, take no prisoners. We'll see what you got today with 11 Lady Serenity in here. In that race where she was a beaten favorite, third place finisher, came back to win at the Meadowlands, running an okay buyer number of 70, stacks up with his group of fillies and mares. 8 Bandits Warrior, Wesley Ho aboard, kind of a moderate number on the grass for her when she won on the turf here at Laurel back in late June, but she's a kind of a mare that could improve a little bit, getting back on the grass. She's not far out of it, and she has enough tactical speed to stay close to any kind of early foot today because she's kind of a tactical horse. They used her in there. The 12 White Knuckle Flyer, kind of a different animal. She's a horse who likes to settle and make one run. And it tossed that race off the turf last time out. One Whirlwind Ride, you see, came back to win yesterday here at Laurel Park on the speed of the grass here on the turf. The White Knuckle Flyers run some dynamite races in the past. If the pace is sufficient enough for her, she can close kick. And the 7 Theodora Grace, I've seen her loom, wait, just looks like she's going to do something, kind of flatten out a little bit today. She's going to have to improve her game, I think, in this group in the opener. 11-8, 12-7.
Let's go on to race number 2. That starts that early pick 4 in a claiming 12.5 for the 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 3, going a mile and 16 on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. Scratches in the 5, 8, 9, and 11. You go with the number 7, Tub Tim Siam. Now in the barn of Anthony Ferrier. Jamie Rodriguez gets the call here. Has been shuffled recently through a couple of different barns.
Yeah, this is kind of a tough call since the claim has been scratched in for the 12.5 today, but it comes back as a first-time gelding this afternoon, and a lot of his runs, 3, 4, 5, 6 back, or 4, 5, 6 back on the paper would be good enough to win here. So I'm going to take the shot that the gelding situation will do the trick, and the fact that he's got a little bit of speed to run to this afternoon. Impatient Capital maybe showing some early speed. Imagine Eyes try to maybe hook it up a little bit, and especially Magical Monarch, the other farrier horse on the outside, getting Jevion Toledo aboard. A horse, in my opinion, who kind of needs the lead. He's run against Tub Tim Siam before. Tub Tim Siam's beaten him a couple couple of times. So I think maybe the pace should be sufficient for Tim Siam to get a good trip near the pace this afternoon. J-Rod Ferrier's got 2 in here. One's a speed horse, one's kind of a closer. I'm going with a 7 on top. One, Mr. Jefferson, beaten by what a hard man Feded in the dance who scratched out of this spot today last time out. But the race 3 back against Brooklyn Guy projects him in the picture. Number 3, what a hard man Feded. They're really going to have to do some running up front for his late kick. He's a hard-trying horse. He's very willing, but he has to have a little bit of pace in front of him to run his best. I wouldn't count him out, especially if he's like the 12 to 15 to 1 range. I'd definitely use him in the underneath spot in the exacta. What a hard man Feded. 7, 1, 3, and 10.
I just had What a Hard Man Feded coming off of my ticket. A little bit of a widespread race there. 7, 1, 3, 10, Dave Rodman. Race number 3, we're back on the turf here in this claiming 45, which have never won 2, going 5.5 on the turf for the girls 3 and up. Scratching the number 6, Dark Duchess. You go with the number 5 and Bossy Diva for Lupe Preciado. Angel Cruz gets the call. Needs to come up. We need a little bit of a comeuppance, but you've got a special stat for us on Lupe Preciado.
Yeah, this filly has a light race record since November of 2023 at Aqueduct. Only 2 starts this year, January and March. But Lupe Preciado in Maryland, shipping into Maryland here on the circuit in the last 5 years. Not a lot of starters, 35, but 9 wins, 26%, and a positive ROI, slight positive ROI, $2.02. Well, when he ships, he likes to win. And this filly's in for $45,000. Not giving up on it quite yet there. She was in for 50 not-winners of 2 at March in that race. 2 back at Gulfstream Park. A little tougher field, I think, than this. You see Alabreva in the line. We'll talk about that horse later on today. Has some good early speed if necessary, and that's what you need on this grass course. Now, speaking of early speed, Runaround Slew just might make the front today.
You're right.
Inside here. Ben Curtis gets the mount for Xavier Perez this afternoon. Races produced a winner. Charlotte's Approval came back to win at Woodbine with an 81 Bayer number. But look at those fractions there, Colonial September 4th. That was no fluke. 21 and 4, 44 and 2. He chased that pace. The pace presser, the pace maker in that race, came back to run a very, very strong second on the grass next time out with a 74 Bayer number. She's quick, and that fractions will show perhaps that she's going to be the filly on the lead at the rail. I think Bossy Diva will try to lap on Turner every step of the way. So 5-1, the old Jack Harmon 1-5-5-1 there in race 3 to make him happy, sitting over Timonium, popping open a red can. 5-8, 1 and 2.
There we go. Right
5-1-8-2.
Right 5-1. Right for Jack there. Race number 3. Race number 4 starts the Rainbow Pick 6. Of course, we still are holding on to that carryover that we've had. About 8,100. Yep, just a tick over it here. Getting into and starting in race number 4. Taking a look at my ticket, I give you a $48 ticket. Race number 9, I've got a value play there. In the number 3, I single in, and it was hard. I honestly didn't want to single in on any leg in this ticket whatsoever, but I make my decision between the 2 and the 5. I just strike it at 2 with Benny. Your best bet of the day, which we'll get to in a moment. Really widespread affairs in races 5 and 6 especially, and I can't wait for race number 7. We're going to potentially see some nice talent there out of a Hammy Smith runner, but a $48 ticket here for this Rainbow Pick 6, and it starts in this starter optional 30,000 going a mile. Second wire finish here on the dirt for the girls, 3 and up, scratching the coupled entry 1A. I'm getting there. So you and I, of course, land on the number 1 for Jamie Ness, Our Liberty Bell with Michael Sanchez. Let's take a look at that collective effort last time out with a win on October 5th.
Claimed and right to the winner's circle at 6 furlongs. This is a mile this afternoon, but I thought a very, very nice run in here. Was a bit between horses early, ranged up 3 wide at the quarter pole, and kicked away in good style here. So she has a bit of a run, a burst of speed. If just save it for that second wire finish, I think she can do that, being an American Pharoah filly. With the right ride here, I think, saving a little something for that final furlong. Long run of the second wire going a mile. Jamie Ness. We know Jamie Ness, Jamie Rodriguez going a mile strong. But I just looked up a little something this morning. Jamie Ness The mile here at Laurel Park is 26% in the winner's circle. That's
Wow.
very
That's
strong. Of course, a lot of those with J. Rod aboard. Michael Sanchez gets them out here on our Liberty Bell, but she was claimed, hits the winner's circle, and this was kind of moved. Second after the claim, after a win for Ness, is also a positive return on investment move. So our Liberty Bell here looking to stretch from 6 to the mile. Your pick, my pick.
Yep, absolutely. The number 7 we both go with. We have the same exact here. I Can Run, Claudio Gonzalez, Ben Curtis. I'm really pleased to see this filly in really good form now. Got that confidence effort, but I have trouble getting backing her right here at Laurel for this specific distance.
Yeah, look at the race 3 back. Second behind Peyton Elizabeth. She's a nice horse, right? A 14-time winner lifetime is Peyton Elizabeth.
Yep.
Good second, good number. That was over this track as well. She's only got 1 win from 13 tries, but in the money lots. 4 seconds, 2/3. So I think she's definitely using here. I Can Run. Ben Curtis has the mount for Barbosa today. The Claudio horse. And she's also kind of versatile, right? She came from off the pace at Monmouth, but I've seen her go gate to wire before as well.
Right. I just can't. I have trouble figuring this filly out. Or this mare out. I like her, but again, here I get it. I get where you're coming from here, but you have to have her. You have to respect her coming into this race. Talk about the number 2 on the inside. Social Lady, Bruce Corvette's Javian Toledo here comes over from that Delaware effort. What do you make of this one, and especially having that campaign earlier in this year at Parks?
I just threw her in there, really. I mean, the race after the claim, last race at Delaware, was a 4-horse field. She finished 3rd in there. Never a gear, never a passing gear, never an excuse. Now, maybe they can figure her out second off the claim in this spot. She did run behind Foxy Jr., who's won 5 of her last 6, including the Maryland Million Distaff at Penn National. That was in a different barn. So they got to get her back to where she was. And certainly just second off the claim, it's possible. 3 in here stop the cap if things go crazy up front. And this is a filly that could pose a little bit of a late danger in there. She beat Joya del Sur 2 races back, August here at Laurel, with a decent figure as well that would kind of fit in the spot should some of the others not fire. 1-7-2-3.
As we go from race number 4 to race number 5, that starts the late pick 5 as well. Dave, you have a nice ticket for us. Of course, industry low, 12% takeout. What does your ticket look like, Dave?
All righty, late pick 5. Single your horse in the 8th race.
Thank
Number 2,
goodness.
Benny.
Makes me feel
Also
better.
my best bet, but going to spread around that. In the 5th race, the opening leg of the pick 5, going to be with the Bernie Dunham quality mare. Afandi always tries, like Alibrevic, quite a bit. I know. I said speed on the turf when she's a closer, but we'll make a case for that in a moment. In the 6th race, 5 and 6, I'm going to use the 2 horses who were in the crunch time leaving the starting gate. I feel bad for you, son, and Valori. We're going to show you some video of that in a minute. So a lot of trouble for both of those runners last out. The 7th race going 3, 5, and 10, trying the turf a little bit risky. A Stormy Flight and a horse I kind of like if the turf plays a little more to the closer side today. Still might win is War Humor. Like a good gallop out in that horse. Note a little bit back. In the 8th race, Benny, the single, and go with Crab Cake's sister there. And in the 9th race, 6, 7, and 8, like you, spreading a lot. In the last race, Jolly Boss King Covey. And then first off the claim, Bernie Dunham, Mr. Turf, we'll call him. I got a good stat for this guy on the turf, Bernie Dunham, with Tool Pusher, a claim and a raise. A little bit of confidence there, and he's 20-1 on the morning line.
Oh, I love that. 18%, $18. Can't wait to hear about that later in the last race. Let's dive into this first leg in this allowance. Optional 40,000 going a 5 furlongs and a half on the turf. Your second wire finish for the girls, 3 and up here on the lovely Laurel lawn. Scratch in the 9. Big scratch for me in that number 9, but you go with the number 5, Ala Breve. Let's talk about her. You're excited to see this filly run here. Michael Matz, Horacio Caramanos. Let's take a look in the Jamila from that effort last out.
First, she's 4 for 6 at Laurel Park. She's a closer. I know that. Speed's been holding. But this win, a good closing effort on the grass in the Jamila on a day when Speed was holding on the grass, I thought. At least that was my note. I love the way she does it. I mean, she kicks away with complete authority late. She'll be running late. hopefully today she can repeat that effort, make it 3 in a row off a Jamila Stakes win. She loves Laurel. She loves the lawn. She loves the sprint. Freshened up since July in this spot. Number 2, Afandi, beaten last time out by a Gift of Gab. Looked like she was going to get the job done. Here comes Gift of Gab, who always had running the race to nab her late. Stubbornly is the comment. She has tactical early speed like that from the inside, and that's the reason I used her second. Visby Gastown Babe, the entry from Justin Nixon. They're both very quality horses. I kind of tend to like Visby over Gastown Babe, who kind of waits on horses a little bit. But Visby, coming off that race last out, that was taken off the turf on the muddy track, made an outside bid, 4 or 5 wide on the turn. It was an interesting bid. This is not her preferable surface, but back to the turf this afternoon. Belated rally 2 back in a race that was running pretty decent clocking by All I Want Is You, the winner. She, too, like Alabreva, is a stretch runner, but she's been a little more forwardly placed in some of her races that might help her cause this afternoon. So 5-2, 1A, and 1.
There we go. We'll be right back after this commercial break for the rest of Sunday's cards starting in race number 6. The late pick 4 starts here in race number 6, but also, of course, that jackpot super high 5 and 15% takeout there. And it is only here in race number 6. And this maiden claiming 12-5. This is a proper jackpot super high 5 race here, going a mile on the dirt for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Dave, you have the number 5 on top. You also have the number 6 in your exact. And we're going to look at both I Feel Bad For You, Son, and Velour in that effort last time out on the 6th of October.
When this happens to low-level claimers like this, boom, boom, out of the gate, normally they just give up and don't try, right?
Yeah, right.
Or a maiden special weight horse or a good horse can overcome that. Well, both those horses were crunched at the start there. And then I Feel Bad For You, Son overcomes all of that to rally a good, strong second. And then finishing just behind was Valori, who finished 4th in that race. I Feel Bad For You, Son, second, beaten 3/4 of a length. Valori overcame trouble as well. They're both going that 1-turn mile again this afternoon out of a race that wasn't run in a very pretty buyer number at all. I think it was 37, something like that. But looking at this field, you know, I think both of them are just going to need some clean trips to get it done. 5, 6, 6, 5. 3, Big Andy Mort is a long-time maiden, 11-time maiden. The number 3 back, 52 on the dirt at Delaware. Beaten 10 lengths. Do I believe that? I guess I have to, right? The winner, California Sober, did improve his figure next time out when moving up to the turf. So I guess that makes it legit, right? When you see a horse is 0 for 11, maybe makes you think, but maybe today's the day for this one. I'm going to go with a 5 and a 6, though, off the crunch, leaving the starting gate sandwich trip. 1, ABC, just missed in a race where the pace kind of fell apart last time out. Long shot winner was Minimo, who had a good trip down to the inside. Maybe that extra 2 furlongs will do him some good. I did want to mention a horse I did not put in here. Is a King Dario, who was buried on the turf first out. Went back and looked at that video this morning to see if there was any excuse. Not much, unless you believe in the horse didn't like the lights theory. I mean,
I do believe that.
You believe that?
I do. Riding there, I believe it. Yeah, it depends on the horse, but I can get it. I get it a little bit.
That's excuse number 872 from why your horse did not. Oh, 73, right? And why your horse did not win. So King Dario didn't do much, but kind of looked a little green in the opening stages, but didn't do much after that. Lights were on at Meadowlands, little shadows here and there. I don't know. The Dam. Splash of Roses is a 9-time winner, right? You would think he's got to be a little bit better than that first effort. Maybe he's just a dirt horse at this level. I don't know. I didn't use him, but
Solomini is 19% with his second-time starters, 13 for 70. So you got something. You got something a little bit going on there, Dave.
And excuse number 873.
There we go. Right at 5631. Dave Rodman there for race number 6 at start of the late pick 4 in the jackpot. Super high five. And we go on to race number 7, and that's back on the turf here, going 5.5 second wire finish here for the 2-year-olds in this allowance optional 62.5. Scratch in the 2, scratch in the 6. You go with the number 3, little bit risky. I like this pick here. John Salzman Jr., Javian Toledo, 15-1 morning line. Bottom side helps. Let's talk about that effort last time out. In fact, let's see it on October 4th there, here at Laurel.
All right. Here we go.
Yeah.
October 4th. There he is, highlighted.
Right there for you, Dave.
A little bit of a brush at the start, in tight at the start. Was 3-4 wide in the turn. Kind of an even pace third behind Saxton in here as they come down the stretch. But the race before that ran against Do It For Michael, who came back to win the Maryland Million Nursery with a 77 buyer. Never been on the turf. They tried to get him on the turf. With this race you're watching right here, it was taken off the grass to the main track. And there he is, outside third, kind of a, even pace third. But I think the lawn's going to help his footing today. By Great Notion, out of Forever in My Heart, it makes him a full brother to Great Kisser, who was 2 for 3 on the turf, lifetime, topping with a 77 buyer number. 77 on the turf would be good enough here if he's anything as like his sibling.
Absolutely. Talk about Stormy Flight, Hammy Smith, Victor Carrasco. Of course, everybody's going to key in off of that maiden special weight effort that we saw back in September with that nice 4-length commanding finish.
Your top pick, and it easily could have been a top pick. He has turf experience, and he absolutely surged. Coasted in was kind of my comment to myself there when he beat the Warden and Cinetic. Not quite sure what he beat, but it's how he did it. Then he kept him in the race you saw a few moments ago against Saxton, finished 4th in there. But you could tell from the get-go, from his head action, just in the way he was running, he's a better turf horse than he is a dirt horse.
1,000%, yes. The 10, War Humor, of course, winner of the Jamestown, and then just right to the inside, Golden Cookie, first-time turf starter for Michael Stidham.
Again, out of the Saxton race, finished 5th there, but even though finished 5th, looked okay on the gallop out. So that means to me that he just didn't like that dirt, and he's run okay on the turf, closed well on the turf, and the restricted Jamestown 5.5. So I think getting back on the lawn is going to help him. Baccaro, 3 races back, 3rd behind that runner on the grass at Colonial, was a recent 2nd at Woodbine in the $125,000 display with a 69 buyer number. So it could be just enough speed for him today. War Humor in there in the 7th race. And he's also, I believe, in my pick 5. So hoping maybe for a little juicy price there. And a little bit risky's big price on the line, too. Don't know if that's going to hold with Toledo up. We'll see.
I think I wouldn't be surprised either way with that. Anything above 5 to 1, anything above 4 to 1, honestly, he's worth the price there. 3, 5, 10, 9 for Dave Rodman there. Let's go ahead to race number 8 and our feature race of the day here in the last day of the weekend racing here in this allowance optional 40,000, 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the girls 3 and up. You and I both go with Benny here. Brittany Russell, Sheldon Russell scratched out of the Maryland Million. Distaff runs here today.
Was not originally my top pick. Went from there to top pick in best play. I kind of like the one in here, Discreet Ops, but she's a filly that just doesn't have a lot of early speed, I didn't think. She may be close today, but the fact that Benny is a sibling to full sister, actually, to Crab Cakes, tilted me in this direction. Her numbers in my book don't quite maybe stack up to Discreet Ops, but she's a filly who 3rd off the cycle, 3rd off the layoff. She's won 2 so far since the layoff this year, 2 for 2. Can improve even more, being the sister to Crab Cakes. Crab Cakes a little better, I believe around the age of 4. So, and then going back to the maiden win, as she broke a maiden for 45,000, my note was better than whatever buyer number was going to come up. And the buyer number comes up at 41. No way. Go back and look at that race and all the trouble that she got into in that race. She should have won by 8 or 9 that day, and she wound up winning by 2. Overcoming all the trouble in debut. Good works at Fair Hill from a great barn, of course. got the connections, got the tactical early speed, but I don't think she needs to have the lead if unless she wants. Maybe Empress Diana's going to do her thing
Sure.
up front. I think she'll try
Yep.
to go.
Yep.
Maybe Benny will just sit a little bit. So
N-
she's come from off the pace in her maiden win, but she's also wired them in the past as well.
Abs-
2-1-8-7, discrete ops. Talk about a very honest filly, right?
Yeah.
Took those races on the turf. But back to the main track, good race behind Irish Maxima in the weather vane, and she was closing in that race behind some good horses. Irish Maxima, you almost had me, and stakes winning Ronan Goddess as well.
Yes, absolutely. So kind of holds to that form. Absolutely. That's honestly kind of missed her a little bit, Dave. So I love that you have her in your exacta here. 2-1-8-7 there for Dave Rodman. Underneath with Golden Tabby and Deeds of Love. Anything to add on those?
Golden Tabby, second last out. Three back, ran against Irish
Yep.
Maxima, right? Deeds of Love, kind of horse that kind of always gets play, but seems to always have an excuse. Her beat slow moves out of the starting gate
Yeah.
always kind of get to her, right?
Got
She
it.
doesn't really break with the field, and then she's back there second to last, third to last, has to use up some energy.
Yep.
You know, if she ever gets her act together, yeah, I mean, I could see her in the winner's circle.
Sure.
And she's the kind of horse though that I've seen run so many times with so many excuses.
Right.
You know, check getter, but maybe today's the day. I don't have her.
Okay, that's all right. 2-1-8-7 there, Dave Rodman. Race at number 8. Race number 9, our finale here on Sunday is on the turf, going 5.5 here, second wire finish for the 3-year-olds and up in this claiming 45, which have never won 2. Scratch in the MTO hub. You go with the number 6. Let's take a look at Jolly Boss in that effort back on the turf at Colonial.
Yeah, we're going to highlight Jolly Boss, but also watch for the horse breaking last in the pink silks. That is King Covey. They're in against each other today once more, August 29th. King Covey, the horse in the pink there in the back, winds up beating Jolly Boss. But Jolly Boss broke just a beat slow that day, had to use up some energy to get into contention and chase. And down the stretch, here comes King Covey, Jolly Boss there, just nipped and runs third. So hoping for a better break from Jolly Boss. I think that's a legit race that fits with this group. A or B,
Sure.
B or A, Jolly Boss, King Covey, looking at a better price maybe off the claim for trainer Bernie Dunham. He did his pedigree research, Bernie Dunham. First of all, Bernie Dunham on the turf sprints is 23% and a 286 positive ROI.
All right.
Mostly due to horses like Afandi, Anita, and like 3 or 4 others.
Yeah.
So it wasn't with a bunch of horses, but he gets the most out of his claims and out of his runners, it seems, on the turf. And he did his pedigree research because the dam of Tool Pusher number 8 won about 190,000 on the grass, and has a sibling who won 100,000 plus, I think around 190 as well on the turf. So there's turf pedigree there for number 8 Tool Pusher. He's 20-1 in the morning line. I got him in that last leg of the pick 5. Use him.
Use them, absolutely. 6-7-8-1 for Dave Rodman there in race number 9. Thank you so much, Dave. But we still are not through with you. Let's talk about those picks there. Your value or your best bet is in Benny with the Russells there in race number 8 on the number 2.
A lot of people were through with me yesterday after the picks. But anyway, Benny, we talked about our Crab Cakes sibling to Crab Cakes, who improved a little bit.
Yep.
She overcame a lot of trouble. Debut has won 2 for 2 this year, has room to improve even more. Solid barn, solid draw, and I think will chase Empress Diana down the backstretch and hopefully prevail.
Absolutely. And your value play, we just discussed this, 20-1 on Tool Pusher for Bernie Dunham and Wesley Ho. They're in the 8 horse at 20-1, but a lot of positives there that you had. I love the points that you brought up.
Yeah, I don't want to repeat them. We just did it a second ago, but the turf for Bernie Dunham, the pedigree on the bottom as well, and also claim and raise, right? When you claim a horse, you jump them up like that. I think they kind of like what they got.
There we go. And let's talk about post time, of course, just having his last work in Maryland up there at Fair Hill before he heads off to California on Wednesday. But just very good, half mile, very well. It's been quiet and good, and that's kind of what they're looking for. Day to day, everything is kind of where it needs to be. Just really focused, trying to keep everything just, again, day by day, as far as what Russell is telling us. There's a lot that needs, everybody's really focused, everybody's good, everybody's excited, but everybody's also, just kind of really on top of it with him. Emma Wolf, her assistant there at Fairhill, will be traveling with Post Time, and she's going to be there with him, flying in the middle of the week next week, so just to get a skip over the racetrack. Emma will breeze him, probably like a solo half, and let him gallop out. But for Brittany, the main work is done now. It's just the same maintenance from the week before, and just letting him feel the track for next week. So as long as he's healthy, he's the horse that kind of thrives off of racing, and everybody's lucky, and everybody's extremely excited for the connections here for Post Time in the Breeders' Cup Mile.
Maryland will be rooting for Post Time. If you can't make it out of the Breeders' Cup, come out here to Laurel Park.
For the watch party.
A mile, and I think the mile is going to be a perfect distance for him.
It is, and it's good. A couple of these horses are gearing for the mile, but we all are very excited, and I have a feeling he's going to be being a very good showing and a great representation here of Maryland. Dave, I'm going to get off set and let you get some more changes and scratches here for Sunday's card.
Good luck today.